you ready?
I'm ready.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, good. The irony, today we're talking about sleep, and I don't know about you, but I had the worst sleep last night.
Really? I generally don't get the greatest of sleeps.
Yeah. Sleep is
Z's.
how many Z's?
You got a little.
That's not in my teeth?
You got some lipstick on your teeth.
What?
You got it already.
Oh.
Do I have any lipstick on my teeth?
No, you're good.
Just disgusting pumpkin pie, maybe.
Bron had pumpkin pie for breakfast.
With a nice cup of coffee.
Dude, this time of year, that's the best brekkie.
A nice little Thanksgiving leftover.
Oh yeah, good on you. Love that for you.
Sometimes you got to give yourself a treat.
So today we're talking about sleep. This is part 2 in the 4-part series of the 4 fundamentals of health. If you dial these 4 different things in when it comes to your health and wellness, guarantee you are going to feel so much better.
I think I'm going to learn some things today.
It was 2 episodes ago where we dove in on nutrition.
Yes.
So if you missed that one,
The first fundamental of health that everybody needs to know.
you did such a great job, Ron. You were such a great student in asking so many questions.
Well, I was genuinely curious about what you had to offer because I asked you what is it that brought you to these 4 fundamentals? And maybe you can answer that once more.
Yep.
If you haven't watched the first one, and if you haven't, go back and watch the first one before you watch this one, maybe.
Yeah. So again, when I went to holistic nutrition school, these were the 4 things that, our teachers who are naturopathic doctors would say. Like, so often people come into our office and they're like, oh, should I try this supplement? Like, what about lectins? Do I need to stop eating spinach? And it's like, so often we're being sold these really gimmicky things online because, of course, like, we live in a clickbait world. But if we would just focus on the basics, the fundamentals, nutrition being the first one we covered, sleep is the one we're covering today. There's still going to be 2 more.
Can't wait.
I know, it's exciting. If we just really dialed these things in, man, our mental, emotional, and physical health would be so much better.
So how do we sleep better, dentist?
Okay, so I'm going to tell you, first of all, why is sleep important? I think, first of all, I'm feeling that today. If you don't have a good sleep, it's really just hard to do life.
Everything.
Right?
Yes.
Our concentration, our mental ability, our mood, everything. But even beyond that, from a health perspective, so much is happening every night when we're sleeping.
Yeah.
Our brain literally flushes and detoxes at night, including all the metabolic waste that builds up that is contributed to Alzheimer's. Our immune system is repairing and building at night. So if you're more prone to getting sick, getting a good sleep is super important. Our growth hormone is also really pumping when we sleep at night, and growth hormone is connected to muscle. So if you're, wanting to put on muscle in the gym, good sleep really linked to that.
Right.
And on the flip side, also weight management, if you're wanting to lose weight, that growth hormone really helps with weight loss.
Right.
And on that tip right there, when we don't get enough sleep, there's actually different hormones that we end up producing more of in the body. One of the hormones is called ghrelin, and that is our hunger hormone.
Not to be mistaken for gremlin.
Well,
right.
It's a hunger gremlin.
Ironically, the mugwai turns into a gremlin if he eats after midnight.
There you go. Gremlin reference. Remember that show? Ding, 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 ding. I loved that movie. But if you ever notice that if you don't have a good sleep, you're more hungry? Do you ever notice that? Well, you don't sleep all good anytime.
I don't.
Okay.
No, I don't. I do have good sleep sometimes, but it definitely could be more optimal.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So I definitely notice that when I don't sleep well, you just start craving more carby foods, muffins.
I don't notice that.
That's cool. Well, that is a thing for a lot of people. If you don't sleep well, you produce more ghrelin, which makes you hungry. So if you're getting enough sleep, there's another hormone that we produce that actually is more of our satiety hormone that makes us just feel more satiated when it comes to food.
Interesting.
What do you think for you? Why do you feel like you're not sleeping well?
I think I drink a little too much coffee.
Yeah.
A little too much caffeine.
Yeah.
I think that's probably the biggest contributor.
Yeah.
I think I could be more disciplined in no screen time after a certain
time of night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say that's the biggest thing.
Okay.
Yeah. Those
Love
are the
it.
2 biggest things.
Thank you for your honesty.
Yeah.
Appreciate your vulnerability. Yeah, so I'm going to go over like the main reasons today why people struggle with their sleep. Okay. So let's go with the first one you just mentioned there. So caffeine. And that was my downfall last night too. I got all cocky. My partner, he keeps like lots of Coke Zero. He loves Coke Zero.
Yeah.
So we always have Coke Zero in the fridge. And last night I was just getting like, ooh, I want a carbonated beverage.
Yeah.
So I had some Coke Zero, which has caffeine in it.
Does it?
Oh yeah.
Blech.
Yeah.
Blech.
But I drank it too late last night.
Right.
And sure enough, 3 o'clock, I woke up at 3 o'clock in the morning and couldn't fall back to sleep until 6.
Wow.
So the thing with caffeine is a big one. And a lot of people don't realize, especially if you've been drinking caffeine for a long period of time, you might not notice how much it is impacting you and how much, it is boosting your energy.
Yeah.
So a lot of people don't think that it's doing much because our body does kind of get used to it over time, but it's still really impacting our sleep.
Right.
So the thing with caffeine is it takes a long time for it to fully leave your body.
Right.
Like a grande, let's say like a Starbucks grande coffee takes about 12 hours to fully leave your system.
Right.
So you think about that. If say you're having like a lot of people get the energy slump around 2 o'clock in the afternoon, you go and hit up a coffee at 2 o'clock.
Right.
By 8 o'clock at night, only half of that caffeine has left your system.
Right.
So your best bet is to stop drinking caffeine by about noon.
Yeah.
Knowing that, it's going to take about 10 to 12 hours for this caffeine to leave my body.
Right.
Right?
Yeah. I stopped drinking coffee right around noon. And even then, I have about 3 of these.
Which is probably a venti.
I don't know. I think that this is a 16-ounce cup. I could be wrong.
Okay.
Anyway, I have about 3 of these every morning.
Yeah.
And I think that that's too much. Like if I were to really listen to my body, I would say 2 is damn well plenty. And it probably, correct me if I'm wrong, the caffeine has a compounding effect and lasts a lot longer if you're drinking more.
For sure. Well, again,
I could be wrong. I'm just making that assumption because that's what it feels like.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I mean, the more caffeine that you're putting into your body, the more your body is going to have to remove all of it, right?
Yeah.
So
I just love the flavor so much. And that's actually not entirely true because I thought that's what it was. I just love the flavor. At least that's what it was when I first started drinking coffee years ago in my mid-20s.
Yeah.
But then I switched to decaf and I was like, no, it's the caffeine.
Yeah.
It's that hit.
Dude, I hear you. Caffeine is like my favorite quote unquote drug.
Yeah.
I freaking love it. I've cut it and gone back to it so many times because just like a little bit of that. First, it's like the emotional experience of like a nice warm, beverage 100%. And the taste. So I feel you. I hear you. But I think it's just a good thing to be mindful of if you are drinking caffeine to try to reduce it and to really try not to have any after 12 o'clock.
Word. I think something to be cognizant of is I think like one takeaway that I'm going to take away from this is actually committing to a 30-day trial.
Ooh.
I think any kind of change in life is so hard to make if you make it sound like it's going to be a lifelong thing or forever. But if you say, let's try this for 30 days and actually commit to a 30-day trial and see what happens, I think that's something that would be really helpful.
Oh, 100%.
If I was being honest.
Yeah. Have you ever tried quitting caffeine?
Oh, yeah.
Before? Okay.
Oh, yeah. And I can do it.
Okay.
Like you.
Yeah.
I'm the exact same as you. Like I like that kick. I love that emotional experience.
Yeah.
The best part of waking up. Yeah.
Not Folgers.
No. Fuck Folgers.
They don't sponsor this podcast. They don't get a frame mention.
Fuck you, Folgers. No, just kidding.
Whoa.
Yeah, throwing it down.
Did you get any detox symptoms when you quit?
Oh, yeah. Headache.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I quit drinking coffee a year ago.
Bad headache.
I had not only a bad headache, but I was so exhausted. Like I was so tired for about a week where I just felt like I needed to sleep all the time.
Wow.
Yeah. So the next thing I want to mention is alcohol.
Right.
Of course, Bron doesn't drink alcohol anymore, so you don't got to worry about this one.
8 months as of yesterday.
Yes, Hunty. Get it. That's
Thanks.
amazing.
Thanks.
Proud of you.
Thanks.
But for a lot of people, I think alcohol can feel like it actually helps our sleep.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if you remember that at all, but it can did you find that?
Oh, the complete opposite.
Okay.
Drinking made me have the worst sleeps.
Yeah.
Like
garbage.
Terrible.
Okay. So for some people that is the case. And for other people, it can feel like it's actually helping because it's like a bit of a sedative.
Right.
So it can like feel like it's like, yeah,
Blackout.
I'm like, yeah, pretty much blackout. It's like putting you into a lovely little coma.
Yeah.
But the thing with alcohol is, we have different parts of our sleep cycle, and the REM part of our sleep cycle
Yeah.
is really affected when you're drinking alcohol.
Right.
So you're not getting that really good deep sleep. And it's the same thing with coffee. Like with coffee, it affects more of the actual deep sleep part of your sleep cycle. But with both of them, this is oftentimes why, you're like sleeping for 8 hours or whatever, but you wake up feeling unrested or groggy because they prevent your body, both alcohol and caffeine, prevent your body from really going deeply into those like essential parts of your sleep cycle.
That lands for both really, but
Yeah.
for coffee especially.
Yeah.
Like it's rare that I'll have a really, really solid sleep where I wake up the next morning, I'm like, yeah, I had a great sleep.
Yeah.
It probably happens maybe once every 8 or 9 days where I
Yeah.
get that. The other days it's like I could have had a much better sleep.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think you're right. Like the caffeine is probably a really big part of
Well,
that.
shit, looks like I need to do a trial for no caffeine.
I guess so. Or even just reducing it. Just try even like, perfect world would be cut it and see how that is. It'd be actually a really cool experiment to do that and see.
I think realistically, because I've done where I've gone no coffee at all, I know that I can do that. I think an even better trial for me would be to do maybe like 2 cups, like 2 measured cups a day.
Yeah.
So in other words, like one of these, because I think a grande is like 1 cup is 8 ounces, right? So I think this is 16 ounces. So this is 2 cups, I believe.
Yeah.
So maybe one of these a day
Yeah.
and stick hard to that. And then just switch to like a non-caffeinated tea.
There you go.
Because I still love that hot beverage.
Oh, dude, that's what I do now in the evenings. Like I love a hot beverage. So I'll get like a rooibos tea, which has no caffeine in it. And I'll still put, like my soy milk or whatever in it. So it's like still warm and comforting and tastes like a black tea, but it doesn't have the caffeine in it.
Right.
When you cut coffee before, do you remember it shifting your sleep at all?
I don't remember.
Yeah, fair.
I don't remember.
Yeah.
I wish I did.
Yeah, I wish you did too. It'd be really helpful in this moment, Bron. Gosh. Okay, so the other thing with alcohol is it really, and this brings me to my next point. The other thing that can really impact sleep is blood sugar and your hormones. So all my ladies out there struggling with perimenopause, you're like, yes, that's me. Like hormones, perimenopause can start at the age of 35. And basically what's happening within that is your hormones are starting to shift. And so sleep can become a lot more challenging. So alcohol is really connected to our blood sugar and our hormones, right? Because when we drink alcohol, like it's pretty much like liquid sugar is what it is. So
delicious.
Delicious. So delicious. Liquid sugar. We love it. We love it. So if you're going to, again, of course, in a perfect world, like no caffeine, no alcohol, for a lot of us, that's maybe not realistic or,
not something that people are ready or willing to commit to.
Totally. 100%. So you're at where you're at and that's cool. But we're just going to, tell you the best case scenario and
work within it.
Work within your limits. So if you're going to have some alcohol at night, your best bet is to have it with your meal. Okay. So this is the same thing. When we look at blood sugar, a lot of the time what's happening is if you're not having a meal that is well balanced with like protein, fat, and fiber. Remember we talked about that in the food episode about when you're combining a meal, you want those 3 things to be present.
Right.
On your plate, you want to have some protein, you want to have a healthy fat, and you want to have some vegetables, some fiber. Eating that way really helps to balance your blood sugar. If you eat a meal that is like really high in carbs or sugar, you're eating like a big sugary dessert, what happens is your blood sugar spikes. And then around 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning when you're sleeping, that blood sugar like crashes, which is super stressful on the body. So when our body is in a stress state, we produce cortisol, which is our stress hormone. And you're not going to sleep well if there's high cortisol in your body. So that blood sugar crash is really stressful for your body.
Interesting.
So again, here's what you can do. If you're going to have wine, have it with your meal. Really try to focus on having your dinner, not too late in the evening. Having it early enough in the evening so that like your body can actually digest. So you're not going, like when you go to bed with a big full belly, Like if your body's working to digest, it's not going to sleep really well, right? You're not going to sleep really well.
Right.
And then in your meal, making sure that you have those three things present, that fiber, that protein, that healthy fat. So that would look like, some salmon cooked in olive oil with some brown rice. So your salmon and the olive oil are your protein and your fat. And then some brown rice and say some broccoli would be your fiber.
Right.
Okay. So by having a completely balanced meal like that, that's really going to help buffer your blood sugar.
Right.
If you're the type of person who like, oh, I got to have a little sweet treat. Like I love a dessert. Again, try not to have just the sugar, the carbohydrate by itself. Adding some like protein and fat to it is going to help buffer that blood sugar spike.
Right.
So if you're the type of person who wants to have chocolate in the evening, having like a handful of almonds or nuts with it.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah. So that blood sugar thing can be a really big thing for people. And sometimes what can help, if you notice that you're consistently waking up around like 2 or 3 a.m., especially if you are feeling hungry, like this happened to me last night, actually. I woke up and at 3 o'clock and I couldn't sleep and I was like feeling hungry. And so having a little snack sometimes before you go to bed, if this is something that you struggle with, if you notice at 2 to 3 a.m., like you're feeling hungry and wired, it could be this blood sugar piece. So having a little snack that is like a protein and a carbohydrate,
Right.
Just a little one. So like even like a tablespoon or two of cottage cheese,
Right.
or like a tiny little dish of like Greek yogurt with some berries, piece of apple with a little bit of peanut butter. That can sometimes help if the blood sugar issue is related to you and why you're not sleeping well.
Right.
Right?
Cool.
Any questions?
No.
Okay.
I'm excited for you to talk. Like I'm hearing all of this, and
Yeah.
if I'm being honest, I find it interesting that these are the first things that you're talking about, because in
Yeah.
my mind, I think of people who have a lack of sleep. I think of it, and I could be wrong, but it being more related to their stress levels.
Yes. Well, I'm going to get to that.
Yeah.
And I think, to be honest, it's kind of why I wanted to cover these things first, because I think these things are less talked about and less common. And so it's like, yeah, a lot of people know that if you're stressed and your mind is thinking of a million things, it's going to be hard to sleep. We're going to get to that. But these are some other pieces that are maybe less talked about.
Well, yeah.
So I also do want to talk about the perimenopause piece a lot, because I know a lot of our listeners are female. And again, that can, like, a lot of women 35 and up can really, really start to struggle with sleep.
Okay.
So again, what's happening when a woman hits perimenopause, our hormones are starting to shift. And a lot of women really start to struggle with sleep. And part of the reason with that is one of our hormones, progesterone, is like our body's natural chill hormone.
Right.
And as you age, that hormone starts to decrease.
Right.
So it's a lot harder. Your nervous system is then in kind like just more activated.
Interesting.
Because we don't have more of that like relaxed hormone in our body anymore.
Right.
As we age, our estrogen also starts to go down, which is connected to your melatonin, which is your sleep hormone.
Right.
So essentially, in a nutshell, like our hormones that help us rest and sleep are decreasing as we age. So you just kind of have to work harder. Like I said, like I just mentioned, with like the caffeine, the alcohol, the meal balancing, the blood sugar, managing your stress to ensure that you're getting a good sleep. I also know a lot of women, like one thing to address is that progesterone or that estrogen. And you can do that, work with a naturopath and try to balance it naturally. There's things you can do. But I also know a lot of women these days who are using hormone replacement therapy. And in the past, that was really kind of like taboo.
Right.
Like there was, all these conversations and links to like cancers and it not being a good idea for women. And I don't want to speak to it too much because I'm not an expert on this area, but like a lot of the new conversations and studies coming out are actually like, man, like we've really done women such a huge disservice because like we need that support as we age.
Right.
And so a lot of women now, like I have, a handful of friends who, and just women that I know who have gone down the hormone replacement therapy route.
Right.
And are feeling so much better.
Interesting.
Like their quality of life has increased so much.
Wow.
Because again, when that progesterone goes down, like that's your calming hormone. Like women, as we get to this age, depression, anxiety starts to go up. And it makes sense, right? If you don't have that calming hormone in your body, that can like really start to affect your mental well-being.
Okay.
So, I really do recommend if you feel like you're in that camp and it feels like a right fit for you, feel free to reach out to me. I know a couple of naturopaths that work more with again, I won't get too into it, but just know that there are 2 different kinds of hormones that you can get. Like if you go to your family doctor, they're probably going to prescribe you more of a synthetic, like a hormone that's made in a lab.
Right.
Versus if you go to a doctor like a naturopath, a lot of them these days are giving what's called bioidentical hormones.
Okay.
And they are more so like identical to what we already have in our body. So your body can receive them quite differently. So for me, I haven't gotten to that point yet, but if I was like looking at hormone replacement therapy, I personally would definitely be going down the bioidentical path. Yeah, let's segue to what you brought up, Bron Johnson. Stress. Anxiety.
Yeah.
I would put that under the umbrella of nervous system.
Yeah.
Your body will not rest if it doesn't feel safe.
Of course.
Right? Like if your stress hormones are high, you're in fight or flight, your body's not going to get into this deep state of rest.
Right.
Because at its core, it thinks it's in danger.
Of course.
So if there's like, a tiger chasing you, your body's probably not going to be like, oh, well, now would be a really good time to have a good sleep. Right?
Yeah.
And so it's like looking at, okay, why might our nervous systems be jacked up?
Mm-hmm.
And so it's asking yourself, like, why do I have this anxiety?
Right.
Why am I living in fight or flight?
Right.
And that might be things like, you have a stressful job. Like it could just be like
money problems, pressures at work, at family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it can also be connected to trauma.
Yeah.
Right? Because when we experience trauma, and I think a lot of people, when you say the word trauma, think like, oh, it's got to be like this big, like intense thing. But trauma essentially happens anytime your body is experiencing something that is like overwhelming to it. Mm-hmm. That can be so many different things, right? It doesn't have to be this big, intense event.
I call it the difference between a little T trauma or a big T trauma.
And the thing that happens when we experience these traumatic events is oftentimes, you can think of a time where you went through something that was dysregulating, let's say, to your nervous system. Like, like when you're in traffic and someone cuts you off and like fingers you, that like surge of energy you get in your body. Mm-hmm. You feel like your heart rate go up. Mm-hmm. And so
I'm going to kill you and your kids.
Yeah. Your breath quickens. That is your nervous system, and that energy. If a lot of the times we haven't been taught how to move it and process it properly. Yeah. And so that gets stuck and stored in your body. Yeah. And it's been really cool, like the somatic therapy training that I've been doing over the last couple of years. It really addresses this piece. Yeah. And I see this being such a huge kind of missing piece in the like healing space. Yeah. Is there's absolutely such a huge benefit, and we need to address like our thoughts and our mental side of things. But there's also this other huge piece of the healing puzzle, which is your physical body and how your body literally stores that traumatic energy in your system. And if we're not working to remove that and move that out, your body essentially still thinks that it's reliving and still living that traumatic event. Mm-hmm. And so you just stay living in this state of fight, flight. Mm-hmm. All the time. Mm-hmm. And I mean, I could go on about the impacts of that, but it's huge, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, big time.
I see this a lot where it's like, people are like, oh, I'm not sleeping well and I don't know why. And I can really see that it is like this like heightened nervous system. Mm-hmm. So you got to ask yourself, again, if it's like the trauma piece, going to a counselor or coach or whoever is like trauma informed that you feel truly safe to work through these things with. Right. And, talking about it, processing it, and maybe trying like the somatic therapy. Yes. EMDR is another one that can help like move these things out of our body. Right. So if anybody's interested in trying the somatic stuff, I'm really loving that right now. Mm-hmm. And then
people can go to you for that.
Yeah.
Yes.
So going back to that fight flight, it's like, is it trauma? Are there things that need to be addressed and talked about? Or like you said, earlier, it's like, is it the busy mind, the stress that you need to deal with when you come home? Like to know that you need to set the scene you've been in this go, go, go state all day. you need to set the scene to now you're like moving more into rest and sleep mode, right? And that kind of brings me to the final area, which is your circadian rhythm. And you're shaking your head like, you know, circadian rhythm. Yeah. And I left that one to the last because I think most people do essentially know about this. But if you don't, your circadian rhythm is like your body's internal clock that tells you when it is time to wake up and when it is time to go to sleep. And so essentially, ideally, if your circadian rhythm is in like a top-notch place, when the sun comes up, you will feel awake and alert. And when it starts to get dark, you will start to feel sleepy. So unfortunately, there are numerous things that can really impact our circadian rhythm. Some of the best things that you can do to help your circadian rhythm, first of all, when you wake up in the morning, getting sunshine in your eyeballs, right? Because that is going to tell your body like, okay, sunshine's in my eyes, start producing the hormones that wake me up.
Of course.
And then it also sets that clock in your body 14 hours, like 14 to 16 hours from now, start producing melatonin, which will be your sleepy hormone. So your body will naturally start to get tired at night, right? So again, one of the best things you can do is when you first wake up in the morning, like within 30 minutes of waking up, is just go outside and like go for a little walk around your block. Go get some sunshine in your eyeballs. It's such a simple thing, but it can like really make a difference in your body's own intelligence of knowing when to wake and sleep. Right.
Yeah.
And this is why it's also really challenging for people who work shift work. Because ideally we're having this consistent sleep schedule where we're waking up at the same time and going to bed at the same time every day, awake with the sunrise and going to bed with the, the darkness at night. And that's kind of how our body's designed. But if you're working, shift work and you're doing the opposite of that some days, like your sleep schedule is just all over the place, it can be really, really hard to have a regulated sleep schedule, right? So sunshine, eyeballs in the morning, and then at night, intentionally carving out, like creating what we call sleep hygiene for yourself. And you mentioned, Bron, like the screen time is definitely a big thing that impacts people's like inability to get into that rest state. Because you probably know this too, your body, your eyes don't know the difference between like the light that you're seeing on your phone or your TV. Your body doesn't really know the difference, whether that's like sunshine or a artificial screen. Right. So your body is just like seeing, oh, brightness, sunshine. I'm supposed to be awake. That's what your body is designed to do, is be awake when it sees bright light.
For sure.
So like ideally, at least 2 hours before bed, you're turning off the screens. You're putting down the phone. And I think this is, if we're honest with ourselves, the one that most of us struggle with these days, because we're all so freaking addicted to our phones. I'm guilty of that too. 1,000%. But like if sleep is something you really struggle with, just like trying these things. So putting your phone away, and your TV as well, 2 to 3 hours before you go to bed. And again, being really mindful of the lighting in your home. If you've got bright lights, that's going to be telling your body it's morning time. So dimming the lights, we've got the salt lamps, which are really, really lovely. They just create kind of that more ambient, sleepy light.
Totally.
So like be really conscious of creating an environment that feels more restful.
Totally.
And getting into that state, having a hot bath, essential oils. If your mind's really busy, doing some journaling so you can move it out of your mind onto paper.
Totally.
Doing some stretching, putting your legs up the wall, can be a really helpful one.
I think when I think about it too, what I'm going to take away from this conversation is really seeing like that nighttime routine as a way of engaging in conscious self-care.
100%. Yes.
Yeah. And I think that that's something that I'm excited to implement. I'm actually like genuinely, when I think about it, excited to make some shifts to give myself an opportunity to set myself up for a more successful sleep hygiene.
Totally.
As you refer to it. And I like that.
Yeah, it is so nice. If you can, when I was a single girl living in Vancouver alone, and this is also just a little, shout out and compassion to anybody out there who has kids and other people in the house. Like sometimes it's kind of hard to control the environment and make it restful, especially when you've got kids, right? That's just a reality for some people
Yeah.
and you got to work within that. But like, yeah, when I lived alone in Vancouver as a single girl, that was like, as you just said, like the ultimate act of self-care. Like every night I would have my hot bath with
Read.
my essential oils, just read a book.
Yeah.
I would do some stretching. I would like listen to some like relaxing music as I stretched, and I would have the best freaking sleeps ever.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, now it's like I'm living with my partner, we got a kiddo, and sometimes there's like loud music and lights.
Right.
And but you know, I still try to cultivate that within my own space. You know, I go to bed earlier than my partner.
Yeah.
I turn off the lights, I read my book.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I'm laughing because last night
Yeah.
I was going to lay down and watch an episode of Monsters.
Oh yeah.
Ed
I mean,
Gein.
we've been watching that too.
So good.
It
So
is. The
creepy.
acting is so good.
It's so dark and
Yeah.
it's a lot.
Yeah.
But instead,
Yeah.
I read a book. And that
Nice.
felt really, really nice. And just like
Yeah.
that conscious shift of like, no, let's turn off the screen and engage in some beautiful self-care.
Yeah.
Have a healthier nighttime routine.
100%. And just knowing the things that you do like an hour to 2 hours before you try to sleep are really going to set the stage for the quality of sleep you're going to have that
For
night.
sure.
So yeah, if you know you're loud noise and bright lights, like your body is not going to be getting into as deep of a restful state
Right.
as if you consciously take that time. And it makes so much sense. Like
Right.
we need that time to slow down.
Right.
Our brains have been going all day. Like we need to allow that
Totally.
to unpack and digest.
Totally.
I think I want to add one more thing.
Oh, sure.
That I forgot to mention is having a cool room.
Mm.
For your body to get into like a restful sleep. Ideally, our body temperature needs to drop like a degree or two.
Mm.
So I don't know about you, but I love like windows open, AC on, whatever.
Those twisted people who like hot rooms at night.
Right? Oh, I love it cold.
Me too.
Another quick little thing that I wanted to mention, the hours before midnight that you sleep are better quality hours of sleep.
Right.
So yeah, trying to go to bed at a decent time.
Yeah. So what do you think is a good takeaway question or reflection for people listening to this? I have my idea of what I would encourage people to think about, but let's hear yours.
Yes. I think it's asking yourself, out of the different areas that we shared today, which one for you is the piece that you struggle with the most? Is it the caffeine? I think that's a big thing for a lot of us. Is it the alcohol, the blood sugar piece? Are you eating that well-balanced meal at night? How's your screen time? You know, circadian rhythm. Are you getting up in the morning, putting sunshine in your eyeballs? I think it's just really like asking yourself out of these things, the nervous system, the high anxiety, fight, flight. Do you need some
Stress.
support? Like, what is it for you
That you need.
to address? Yeah.
Honestly.
Honestly.
I would say one last thing that we didn't talk about is making sure we're hydrating our bodies throughout the day.
For sure.
That's huge,
Yep.
I think.
Yep.
Making sure you're drinking plenty of
Oh,
water.
yeah.
That's huge.
That's something that I kind of wish that I had have talked about more in the
First one.
nutrition episode that we did.
Right.
Because I do think that's a huge thing that a lot of us aren't drinking enough water.
I was thinking that too about
Yeah.
the last episode. We didn't talk about drinking water.
Oh, there's so
so
much
much.
to cover.
Yeah.
But that is a really, really big thing for sure. A lot of us aren't drinking enough water. And especially if you are drinking lots of coffee and caffeine, you know, just being really mindful of
For
that
sure.
hydration.
For sure.
Yeah.
I'm going to go drink some water right now.
Good idea. Oh, I got mine right here.
Good girl.
Yes. Maybe I'll just quickly mention a few other things. I'm thinking of some of the struggles that certain people have mentioned over the years. You know, a lot of people, it's like waking up in the middle of the night. Do you ever wake up in the middle of the night?
Yes.
And for you, what helps you get back to sleep?
I haven't found anything. Yeah.
Okay. Do you read when you wake up in the middle of the night?
No, because I honestly would think I wake up in the middle of the night because I've drank too much caffeine during
Yeah.
during the day, and it's a case where I'm tired, but I'm
Wired?
like, why? Yeah, I'm
Okay.
wired. Yeah.
So it might be a blood sugar thing for you.
Mm.
Like it probably is the caffeine, but caffeine can really affect your blood sugar.
Right.
So you might try cutting your caffeine first of all.
Yeah.
But like last night when I woke up at 3, by the time it was 6 a.m., I still couldn't get back to sleep. So I ended up getting up and just like having a little snack.
Right.
And I
Interesting.
just had like a little piece of toast with some peanut butter on it.
Right.
And sure enough, I was able to fall back asleep right away.
Interesting.
Typically what I do when I wake up in the middle of the night is I have a book by my bed and I'll read. And it's usually something pretty like I have to really use my brain, you know, like Joe Dispenza or like, you know, not something.
Makes you fall asleep right away.
Yeah. So typically that works, I find, for me. But last night was one of those nights where my brain was just way too busy.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I got up, had the little snack and fell asleep right away.
Good to know.
Yeah.
Good thing to think about.
Another thing I think people might ask about is melatonin.
Right.
Have you ever tried melatonin?
Yep. And it has helped in the past.
Okay.
Yeah.
So melatonin, essentially what melatonin is like, it's not a sleeping pill. It's helping your body, like your brain naturally produces melatonin, which is your body's sleep hormone.
Right.
And so melatonin can be really helpful with like getting your circadian rhythm in check.
Right.
Like if you find that you're not getting tired when it's dark, you can use melatonin for a period of time to try to help your body get into like a normal sleep routine.
Right.
When I was in nutrition school, we were told that if you supplement with melatonin all the time, that your body kind of stops naturally producing it.
Yeah.
I was like doing a little bit of research on that this morning, and I don't know. There's so many different studies online nowadays. It's sometimes a little bit challenging to know for sure
Which is actually
fully accurate or not.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's been a number of years since I went to nutrition school, but I wanted to just share that was what we were told back then.
Right.
I think ideally it's great to just use it as a tool to start shifting ourselves into that regular sleep routine.
Right.
And then hopefully you won't need it anymore because your body is designed to produce it naturally.
Right.
Yeah.
Cool. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Lots of really good tips and tricks to make ourselves have healthier slopes.
I hope so.
Yarr.
I hope so. Yeah, I'm trying to think of other reasons why people might struggle with sleep, but I feel like we covered most of the things.
If you feel like we missed any, drop it in the comments below. Let us know. Keep the conversation flowing. And
Yes.
we're excited to help people have healthier sleeps.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In whatever way we can help. I'm going to do a 30-day trial where I only drink one of these every morning and really stick to that.
Cool.
I'm going to start that, I guess. Oh, no, not today. I'm going to start it tomorrow because I've already had 2 of those. And also screen time at night, being really, really mindful of stopping at a certain time and really just having a conscious movement into enjoying having healthier sleep hygiene at night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited to check in and see.
Me
See
too.
How that works for
Me
you.
too. We'll do a check-in a month from now and
Yeah.
I'll let you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And again, if it is for you like a nervous system piece and you're struggling with whether it's trauma or stress and you're looking for some support, I'm definitely taking clients right now, counseling clients. Bron, are you taking clients? No.
Well, I mean, you know, people might be listening to this a year from now. So check
Right.
in. Maybe I am at that time. Right now,
Right.
currently, as the time of filming, I'm not.
Okay.
But you know,
Groovy.
that's gonna change.
Groovy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you can always reach out to me, Denai Johnson Counseling @gmail.com.
Word.
Cool.
Thanks, everybody.
Okay, thank you.
See you next week.
Sweet dreams.
Sweet dreams.